What is going on, guys? This is Doug with Four Wheel Drive Trek, and today I am going to be working on something that has plaguing my Jeep since I bought it. If you've been following along, you all know that I have not had heat in my Jeep for the past 2 years of owning it. I did absolutely everything else in there. I did the heater core, the radiator, the oil cooler, the water pump, the thermostat, all the hoses, and I'm still having issues with the heat. Specifically, I can flush the coolant like crazy, get it all cleaned out, and I'll have heat for about 10-15 miles, and then my heat just disappears. The heater blower motor is still blowing, but cold air. So that means there is still casting sand stuck in here from the factory, and it is just clogging up my heater core. I have found a potential fix. Hopefully the final fix for the Jeep. So part of the mess a little bit, boxes and everything, garbage didn't get collected because of, the snow out there. But I got this kit on Amazon. And what this kit does is it adds an inline coolant filter. So I'm going to throw this big coolant filter right in line with all my heating system. So it's going to filter out a lot of that casting sand, in theory. Got everything all laid out here, and this kit looks pretty complete, less of one specific thing. It does not come with Teflon tape to wrap these up for sealing them up. We got the inline hoses. Cool thing about this is it's a bypass hose, so in the case of this filter clogs up, you don't have to worry about it clogging up your system and bursting a pipe. Got a little bracket here that holds the filter. Got this here, which is going to be your kind of the adapter that you screw your filter into. These are going to be very, very handy. So anytime you want to change the filter out, you just turn the knob and close the vents, pull the filter off, put a new one on. You don't have to rebleed your system every single time you pull the filter out, which is good because we got to do a new filter at 1,000 miles, 5,000 miles, 10,000 miles, and then once every year after that. Then, of course, you got all your mounting hardware that mounts it straight to the side of the Jeep. And for those of you guys who are asking, and I see it every video, this is a 66 Mustang that I'm currently using as a table, but it is actually quite a crazy build. I put a 4.6 liter V8 plus everything else. I'm going to make sure and link that one at the end of the video for you guys so you can see just how crazy this build is and all the steps that I went through to build it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump into the Jeep and I'm going to start getting all the coolant out, collecting the coolant so I can discard it later at a local auto parts store, and flush the system out so I can mount this guy up. So you're going to need access to pretty much the piping for us. We're going to take this guy off here, and then you want to take off basically the whole air box. 10 mil on top to get these bolts out, and then these two hoses here. Just a heads up, you do have one little thing here you gotta unplug. There you go. Of course it starts raining, so I'm gonna bring this into the garage a little bit here. You're gonna want to pull off these two hoses here. I have a standard hose connection on top, and then crimp down one on the bottom. Now we're going to take this guy and put the two bigger ends right where we pull the other one off. I'm going to throw a couple of the larger hose clamps on that, tightens it down, and then we're going to start working on putting the filter on. Making sure you put the hose clamps on before sliding the hoses on is a very good thing there. So we got this mounting bracket here. You have the two holes at the bottom that are going to be going through the frame and bolting to the frame itself, which is kind of cool, keeps it down and out of the way of everything else. And also because it's down at the bottom, not a lot of air gets trapped in it. theoretically no air gets trapped in it. That's the goal. So jumping down underneath the Jeep, this guy is going to be going up on the passenger side, up along the frame rail, right underneath where like the airbox sits. I'm going to show you that here. It's going to be sitting something up underneath there. It's kind of hard to see right now. I'll show you after I get it all bolted in what it looks like here. And what you're going to do is you're going to take the 2 bolts going from the outside of the frame rail through the frame rail and then put the nuts on the back side. Again, it's hard to kind of show you on the video, but I'm just going to get it bolted through and then show you what it looks like when it's done. And as you can see, it is bolted in. So now I just got to put the filter assembly bolted up to the bottom side of it with those Allen bolts. So we got to put these ball valves on here. This is where you want to put that Teflon tape on. If you don't have Teflon tape, you can use some sort of gasket maker. A little bit of stuff goes a long way on these threads, so just a little bit. And having the filter on here does give you a little extra grip on it as you're tightening it up. And all you gotta do is just snug it up. Just like that, with the valve sticking up like this. So you can, ease your access to it. There we go. You do have an out, and you do have an in. So when you're installing the hoses, make sure you have the out and the in the same spot. If you're pointing at the hose, that means it's open. If you're pointing away from the hose, that means it's closed. So just something to remember there. Now that that is all bolted in, it's time to worry about these 2 extra hoses that we're going to loop around and put them right into those ball valves. Make sure you get a nice sharp box knife to cut through it. Okay, so now that the filter is completely installed, it is just as easy as throwing everything back together. Then we're going to fill it up with some coolant. And then we're going to have to go through the whole process of burping it once again. But since I've done it so many times, it shouldn't be too bad. And for a quick test drive right here, and I actually do feel warm air coming out, which is so much nicer. And there we have it. All right, so have the heat. Everything works out great. Now it's just time to see how long I'll have heat for. So time to go snow wheeling. And if you want to see more about this guy right here, make sure you hit this up here. I'll have that linked up for you. And yeah, that's going to be it. Please hit that like. Please hit that subscribe button. And we're going to see you guys next time.